Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right, so shout out to everybody that's in the room. Y'all already know how we do. Let's do that mic check. 1 2 1 2. If you guys can hear me, give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you cannot hear me, I guess I won't see your thumbs up or your radiation emoji. All right. I'm going to give some acknowledgments to the people who are in the chat. Let's do a like check and see if we got that 20 likes yet. So hurry up. Get them bad boys in real quick. I'm about to refresh the screen. I'm about to refresh the screen. I don't even need to refresh the screen. Everybody drop some radiation emojis for yourselves. 20 likes on the dot. 20 likes on the dot. You guys are amazing, but not like Jesse Lee Peterson. All right, so I'm going to give some quick acknowledgments to the people who are in here already. Shout out to Mimi McCoy, B1. We got Katsy in the building. Shout out to Katsy. We got my man, Kid Gravity Beyond. Kid Gravity Beyond, make sure you throw your channel link in the live chat. Also, make sure you put your backup channel in there so people can subscribe to your backup channel. Me and Kid Gravity did a wonderful live stream yesterday. It was great. It was fun. We had a good time. A lot of information on that. Make sure you guys go and check out the replay. While you're there, like the video, share it to your social media, and make sure that you subscribe to that brother's YouTube channel. Shout out to Volvo to Love. Shout out to my man Lemon Lucas in the building. We got Roots Trackers in the house. We got Irhabdi. Shout out to Irhabdi, a longtime subscriber, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Tasha Peters. Shout out to my man Black Knight Discussions. Kassar Baker is in the building. Kingdom Isaiah is in the house. Dr. Grant is in the building. My man Tori and Rain Reloaded is in the building. I think it's time for the dynamic duo to do a roast. You know what I'm saying? I don't know on who, but anybody can get it. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody that's in here. Kenyon Perry is in the building. Good to see everybody. Shout out to Black Light Revelations 1. Shout out to Black Light Revelations 1. Blacklight Revelations 1 is off papers. You know what I'm saying? So if you guys are not subscribed to Blacklight Revelations 1, if one of the moderators or all of the moderators, whoever can get to it first, can throw the link in the chat for Blacklight Revelations 1. I'm going to be posting content on Blacklight Revelations 1 as well as streaming from there again. So if you're not subscribed to that channel, make sure that you guys hit that channel up. Also, we got a crime cast, everybody's favorite, coming up after this. If the moderators could put the link in for Crime Cast, make sure that you guys subscribe and check out Crime Cast because it's been going down in the suburbs and we're going to talk about it. But right now, what we're going to talk about are rumors of war. All right. We're going to talk about rumors of war. Also, if you watch the stream all the way through to the end, it'll take you right into the window of where Crime Cast will be going on. So if you don't want to do it now, all you got to do is take a moment after the stream. It'll put you right in there. Ladies and gentlemen, already off the rip, let's make sure we give a shout out and some radiation emojis to Yoshi Mori for the $4.99 super chat. You guys already know all of the super chats, all of the income that I generate from YouTube goes right back into the platform. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to Yoshi Mori with the $4.99 super chat for helping me out that way and making that easier. Also, as you guys know, the bots will put links in the chat that will help with direct donations for anybody that's interested in that. That's there for you as well. Let me ask you guys a question. Do you all know the history of China and Taiwan? If you guys do, if you know the history of China and Taiwan, let me know what you let me see what you know about it in the chat. We're gonna get to it eventually, all right? And I'm gonna be running through this so I'm not late for Crimecast because Crimecast starts at 9:55. But remember, crime in the suburbs is going on 24/7. It's just that Crimecast starts at 9:55. You know what I'm saying? So China is calling for peace talks and a ceasefire between Russia and Ukraine. Let me ask you guys, is that performative, or do you think that China actually wants Russia and Ukraine to stop fighting? Lemon Lucas says China used to be a province, or Taiwan used to be a province of China. Yeah. Katsy says, I'm in the military community. I can confirm these rumors. They tell the military tell their family and the community. Big facts. Kid Gravity says China hates Taiwan's link to the U.S. I agree. Was Taiwan ever a legitimate part of China? Let me know in the comment section. We'll be talking about that.
The lessons of history tell us that crisis, however deep, can ultimately be resolved peacefully. No matter how difficult it is, the door to a political solution cannot be closed. We support Russia and Ukraine moving towards each other, resuming direct dialogue as soon as possible, bringing their legitimate concerns into the negotiation, setting out.
I see a great comment. Super comment. Kingdom Isaiah says mainland China is doing this for performance reasons. They don't want the war to stop. I agree. And I think that Russia knows this as well, but China is just trying to look publicly ethical, so to speak. If you guys agree with Kingdom Isaiah, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree with Kingdom Isaiah, give me a thumbs down.
Feasible options, putting an early end to the crisis and giving peace a chance.
All right, so there's that. All right, so now here, what this says is on the eve of the first anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, China has called for a ceasefire between the two sides and for peace talks to commence as a part of a 12-point plan to end the war. China's foreign ministry revealed the plan on Friday, Beijing time, and also called for the end of Western sanctions on Russia. Now, you know it wasn't going to come without having Russia's back, which I'm not mad at China. China and Russia, you know what I'm saying? They everybody knows that they down with each other. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that's when you're down with each other, that's what you're supposed to do. Yeah, okay, I'm with ending the war, but this is what you're going to have to do to help my homie out. Not mad at that. Measures to ensure nuclear facilities, humanitarian corridors for civilians to flee the conflict, and a process to ensure the continuation of of grain exports. All parties should support Russia and Ukraine in working in the same direction and resuming direct dialogue as quickly as possible, the paper released on China's foreign ministry website stated. In the proposal, China indicated its opposition to the use of nuclear weapons in the conflict, as well as the threat of deploying them. Nuclear weapons must not be used, and nuclear wars must not be fought. The threat or use of nuclear weapons should be opposed, the paper said. China also urged that civilians be protected and for international law to be followed. All right. Now, here's my question for you guys. Did Russia a couple years ago try to involve Ukraine or try to involve the Western powers in a Nazi resolution against Ukraine? Did that take place in the UN? Did Russia bring a Nazi resolution to the UN about Ukraine? If that happened, give me a thumbs up. If that did not happen, give me a thumbs down. Okay. Parties to the conflict should strictly abide by international humanitarian law, avoid attacking civilians or civilian facilities, it said. According to the United Nations Human Rights Office, at least 8,000 non-combatants have been confirmed killed in the war in Ukraine, and more than 13,000 have been injured. Russia has also launched attacks against more than 250 Ukrainian hospitals since its February 24th of 2022 invasion, leaving nearly 1 in 10 Ukrainian hospitals damaged, according to a recent analysis by 5 different non-governmental organizations. Despite the peace proposal, U.S. officials have not ruled out that China could be preparing to provide lethal military aid to Russia. Let me ask you guys the question. What's the likelihood of China providing military aid to Russia? Honestly, if the United States hasn't assumed that that's going to happen or has happened already, I think that's kind of naive on the United States part. But I think that that's already happening. And I don't know why anybody would be surprised of that. If the war continues to persist, just like how the United States is giving military aid to Ukraine, it's kind of naive to assume that China is not going to back its buddy Russia up and go ahead and give them some of those nice Chinese hypersonic missiles. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to the 1-on-1 ratio. We got 28 people watching and we got 28 likes. You guys are amazing. That's what's up. Keep that up. You know what I'm saying? Earlier this month, U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Wendy Sherman said at an event at the Brookings Institution in Washington, D.C., that the U.S. has, quote unquote, growing concern about the Chinese-Russian partnership. Well, it's a little bit late. The China-Russia partnership has been around for a very long time. Let me ask you guys a question. When the military report that stated the United States cannot withstand a military offensive on 2 fronts from China and Russia, when that came out, should at some point the United States have been worried and doing things about that then? What about when the report about the U.S. infrastructure being vulnerable to an EMP attack? Do you think that they should have thought about that then? And do they think that if the U.S. report came out about that other people don't know about that? And shout out to Greets. What's up with it, Greets? I think that that's a growing concern. Now, here's my question, right? We know that the United States has beef all over the place. What's beef? Beef is when you need 2 missiles just to go to sleep. Beef is when it's war in these international streets. Beef is when I see you. In Ukraine, Russia blowing up the ICUs. One more time for me, right? Rest in peace, Notorious B.I.G. You know what I'm saying? But as citizens, right, we've already dealt with the United States government, and we know. Oh, you ain't heard my. Listen, man, hold on. Director Kudo, you ain't heard. I'm gonna let y'all listen to this tape that I made back in the day, back in my wild days, real quick. All right, we're gonna take a quick detour. I'm about to let y'all listen to. Matter of fact, it's interesting that you brought that up, talking about this mixtape, because this is, believe it or not, this is actually relevant. Okay, this is actually relevant to the content. All right. This is from when I was younger, man. Y'all can already tell your boy is kind of ratchet. It's all right though. You know what I'm saying? It's all right. You know what I'm saying? Your boy got pookie tendencies. I was on the StreamYards yesterday. I was on the StreamYards yesterday with my man Kid Gravity. You know what I'm saying? And I had to tell my man Kid Gravity, I was like, all right, before we get started, let me pull this drink up and hit this mile real quick. You know what I'm saying? But you know what I'm saying? At the same time, you know, I try to keep it I try to keep it a buck. I try to keep it interesting. I try to keep it intellectual. You know what I'm saying? You can take the hood out of a brother, but you can't take a brother out of the hood. Or I don't know how that saying goes. I don't even know if that is a saying. You know what I'm saying? But what I want y'all to do is I want y'all to listen to this song that I made back in the day. All right. This came from when your boy was in the hip hop circuit and I was trying to get an album deal. All right. This song is called Ready, Aim, Fire. Okay. It's called Ready, Aim, Fire. But what I want people to do is interesting. It's funny that you brought that up. And this was not pre-planned. It actually goes into what is being talked about here. So I can't get a copyright strike for playing my own stuff. See, because this is before like the internet era. Your boy is old. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we didn't have like YouTube and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying, where you could go independent. But we were trying to go independent, which is one of the reasons why your boy didn't get a deal. All right. And shout out to my man Cess3 on the beat. You know what I'm saying? I want y'all to listen to this. This song is a song that I made, I want to say, back in 2002. I think, man, I was in my 20s. I think I was like 22 years old. All right. Yeah. Just listen to Jay Bird down there talking. You see Jay Bird down there talking? Yeah. Early 2000s. This back in 2000, probably about 2002. All right. So listen to this.
Ready, aim, fire. I never robbed the bank, smoked lots of dank. Almost got expelled once for my senior prank. I rode a Geo Prism and I've got no ends. Now I got a Lumina van and minimum friends. We don't make fair plans, and when we get a chance, we practice boxing in Jack's basement with bare hands. I just turned 21, so I ain't got no gun. Y'all need to cop my album so I can get some funds. As I stack my loot, I'll attack your troops. We can go one-on-one or get the gats and shoot. Open up your ears so y'all niggas can hear it. If I don't kill you, I'll murder myself and get your spirit. It's deeper than that. I creep with my cats. Niggas ain't safe at night, even if they sleep with a gat. You got something to start, but ain't got no heart. We at your door deep, like the Million Man March. I bite, you bark. Y'all scared of the dark. I pack NFL nights, Sterling Silver and Shannon Sharp. Basketball niggas, I dunk you donuts. Wanna battle the king, and y'all don't even flow much. Drop, spit the real shit you feel. Fire, I burn the tape out of the reels. Niggas need to listen. This is what's up. Y'all ain't real niggas. Shut the fuck up. Ready?
Now, I want to show y'all how consistent I've been. Consistent I've been. Do y'all see my album cover photo right there with the face distorted and the mask on? This ain't nothing new. Now, what I want y'all to do is listen to verses 2 and 3. I've always been an intellectual advocate. Always.
Aim, fire.
Remember, y'all heard the first verse. I was 21 when I made this. And yeah, this we sampled DMX, What's My Name? So shout out to who is that said the DMX flip? Yeah, Director Kudo. Shout out to Director Kudo for the hip hop history. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, we flipped we flipped What's My Name. The main part of the beat was the beginning part of DMX, What's My Name? You know what I'm saying?
For a minute, made a couple of bucks, and for a few.
Listen to this part right here. Listen.
Weed for a minute,
I sold weed for a minute, made a couple of bucks.
Ready, aim, fire. I sold weed for a minute, made a couple of bucks, and for a few days, I thought that was enough, but it wasn't. Now I got my eye on your man, supply and demand. Give me what you got in your hand. In high school, grades was high, college on point. Now I'm a few tenths away from a 4 point.
In high school, grades was all right, college on point. Now I'm a few tenths away from a 4 point. This was when I was 21. I've always been an intellectual advocate.
You think that makes me soft, that makes me smart. Computer information systems, now I got a new start. You'll need to watch Boiler Room and Office Space so you can see why white boys don't catch a case.
You need to watch Boiler Room and Office Space so you can see why white boys don't catch a case. You need to watch Boiler Room and Office Space so you can see why white boys don't catch a case.
In office space, so you can see why white boys don't catch a case. The cats is digital thugs with digital drugs, tapping into clientele with digital plugs.
These cats is digital thugs with digital drugs, tapping into clientele with their digital plugs.
We need to step up our game.
We need to step up our game. This was when I was 21, y'all. Your boy 42 now.
With digital plugs, we need to step up our game. The world is changing. Soon the white man hand the baton down to the Asians. Same.
What? This was when I was 21. Soon the white man hand the baton down to the Asians.
Digital plugs, we need to step up our game. The world is changing. Soon the white man hand the baton down to the Asians. Same TV, just different station. Damn niggas, look at all the time that we wasting.
Same TV, just different station. What do I be saying? DJ Rob on the ones and twos. Life on repeat. Error. Ain't shit changed, man. You can ask people that's been around that know me for a long time, like Katsy, Izzy, Shatera when she come into the chat. I've been saying the same thing for a long time.
Hollywood's coming. I hope niggas is ready, cause nowadays even getting your mail is deadly. Stupid ass niggas, y'all rapping out lies, sleeping ugly. I hope that y'all open your eyes. Rob spit the real shit you feel. Fire, I burn the tape out of the reels. Niggas need to listen. This is what's up. Y'all ain't real niggas, shut the fuck up. Ready, aim, fire. Boom. Average American makes a ton of trash.
Listen. The average American makes a ton of trash. Our currency to others, a ton of cash. And y'all wonder, why do people act so rash? Because all we do is watch football and talk trash.
Average American makes a ton of trash. Our currency to others, a ton of cash. And we wonder, why do people act so rash? Cause all we do is watch football and talk trash. I've been Americanized, no American pride. But it's messed up how innocent Americans die.
I've been Americanized, no American pride. What? I've been Americanized, no American pride. I'm telling y'all, I try to do my thing, but I ain't perfect. I've been Americanized, but no American pride.
Football and talk trash. I've been Americanized, no American pride. But it's messed up how innocent Americans died. It left me scarred, hit me real hard. And the guilty party said that they did it in the name of God. Every night I look up, the sky's more red. I wonder if it's cause all of them people is dead. Now we in a country making civilian slaves.
Now we in a country trying to make civilian slaves, trying to flush 25 million out of a cave.
Trying to flush 25 million out of a cave. Yo, missiles are shot, planes is flown. Out of order targets, how we hit a retirement home. What's the world coming to and soon gon' end? Better say goodbye to your family and your friends. Rob spit the real shit you feel. Fire, I burn the tape out of the reels. Niggas need to listen. This is what's up. Y'all ain't real niggas, shut the fuck up. Rob spit the real shit you feel. Fire, I burn the tape out of the reels. Niggas need to listen. This is what's up. Y'all ain't real niggas, shut the fuck up. Ready, aim, fire. Boom. Ready, aim, fire. Boom. Ready, aim, fire.
Man, I had to let that beat ride out. I had to let that beat ride out. That's from 2002, though, man. That's old, man. Them days, you know what I'm saying? Them days of becoming a rapper are over. That's when your boy was like 21, 22. I was a young, grimy, like I was just, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, your boy was a grimy intellectual. I should make a new YouTube channel called Grimy Intellectual. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, though, man, like I got a bunch of tracks. Maybe one of these days, you know what I'm saying, your boy get back into it. Jay Bird said, man, I was like 7 then. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop used to be competitive, man, back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like it's just Kid Gravity said we might have to battle. Yo, we need to do that, man. We need to get some cats that battle. You know what I'm saying? My man Moxie approved. He'll be down. You know what I'm saying? We get Moxie up on here, Kid Gravity. You know what I'm saying? We have a little battle. That'll be dope, man. That'll be dope. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, the reason why I wanted to look at this, Kingdom Isaiah said I was 4 years old back in 2002. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, back in 2002, you know what I'm saying? I was probably the age that you are now. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? Like back then, hip hop was competitive. Man, you had to like everything was popping back then. You know what I'm saying? Like you had it was people was still popping. You got old school cats that was still popping. LL Cool J, which LL Cool J still popping today. You know what I'm saying? You had Mobb Deep who was still popping. That was when the old South. You know what I'm saying? You had like Ludacris. You know what I'm saying? 8Ball and MJG. Outkast was popping. Scarface was pop. Like it was so many people popping from so many areas, and that's when when hip hop had a East Coast bias, but there was still lots of talented people independently coming out of the South. You had No Limit Records. That was when Cash Money was coming on the scene. You know what I'm saying? You had Wu-Tang Clan was still popping. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, it was ridiculous. You had Bone Thugs and Harmony, you know what I'm saying? When they decide to put down the blunt and pick up the microphone, they're dropping platinum accident. I call them platinum accidents, platinum albums by accident. Do or Die, you know what I'm saying? Crucial Conflict, you know what I'm saying? I think the Brat was still popping back then. Little John was coming, you know what I'm saying? You had what it is, ho. What's up? Can a nigga get in them guts? Them guts. You had shit like that, like it was crazy back then, man. So, a young, hungry cat from Ohio, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard, especially coming independent, you know what I'm saying? But, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I met a lot of cool people back in the day. I met a couple cats from 3-6. I met Gangsta Pat, you know what I'm saying? Goody Mob. Oh, man, Goody Mob. Cell Therapy was a dope album. You know what I'm saying? Nappy Roots, man. Back then, I used to love Nappy Roots. Oh, no. Hell no. Y'all them up and done it. Who remember that song, man? You know what I'm saying? Lil Flip was popping. Keith Murray. Man, the I Shot You remix was one of the hardest remixes in hip-hop history, man. DMX was popping. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was going down back then. Ja Rule was popping back then. As much as people be hating on Ja Rule, man, come on, man. Ja Rule was popping. You know what I'm saying? You had cats like True Life in Saigon, who I thought were very talented, that couldn't get on. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a lot of talented people that couldn't get on. The Sporty Thieves, they had the one song, No Pigeons. All the Manosphere content that's out here now, all of the gender war content out here, I'm surprised don't nobody be playing that song. Trick Ronalds, you ain't worth the McDonald's. City High, Camp Low. Who remember Camp Low? Nas, you know what I'm saying? Selly Cell, you know what I'm saying? Spice One. What? Pyro, Love, Bay. I said, hey, that song was hot. Then the R&B was popping. You had Avant. You know what I'm saying? It was a lot going on back then, man. Nowadays, it's not so much going on. You know what I'm saying? It's not so much going on. I love hip hop, man. Like, I love music. And that's one of the reasons why I'm so Pastor Troy. Who remember Gangsta Pat? I wanna roll, wanna cheat, wanna smoke me a blunt. I wanna get fucked up. Wanna smoke, wanna get fucked up. I'm rolling and tugging that smoke, man. Who remember that? You know what I'm saying? Tennessee has some dope cats, man. Tennessee has some dope underrated rappers with government names. Like, they got niggas down there names like George Smith III, who are ridiculously dope with Jerry curls. You know what I'm saying? What about 8Ball and MJG? They call me Mr. Big, not because of my size. You know what I'm saying? What? They've destroyed hip hop, man. They have destroyed it. Anybody that like is as much of a old school hardcore hip hop fan. Shout out to Hey Mr. Knickerbocker. What's good with it? Like, it breaks my heart to see what hip hop has turned into. Was that old boy's name de facto Tommy Wright III? He was the one that was beefing with Bone Thugs and Harmony. It was a lot of Memphis cats that was beefing with Bone Thugs and Harmony because of the 3-6 Mafia beef. You know what I'm saying? I got 5 on it. The Loonies was popping. Yuckmouth is on YouTube. Do y'all be watching Yuckmouth on YouTube? He got a podcast on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? Who else was, man? Like I said, Nas, AZ. I had some problems. What? You know? What? AZ, DMX. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was going, man. Onyx. They had Shut 'Em Down, the Shut 'Em Down remix. Rapping Forte. Man, Jada Kiss. Put your hands up. You know what I'm saying? We Gonna Make It is still the cut. Shout out to my man Adrian Hicks. What's good with it? Shout out to Jay Fields. What's up with it, bro? Yeah, man. Tommy Wright III. I never heard of Play or Fly, but Tommy Wright III. I don't know if a lot of people know about him, but that dude was dope. Like that cat was raw. Like he one of the most underrated cats out there. You know what I'm saying? So much talent, man. Jadakiss. You know what I'm saying? Styles P. The G Unit album was popping. Man, one of my favorite songs that 50 Cent made was I'm a Hustler. Rule number 1, don't go against the grain. Rule number 2, give respect when respect due. Rule number 3, I forget what rule number 3 was, but I'm a Hustler, that old 50 Cent song from Power of the Dollar, dope. You know what? I liked Noriega with Capone, like CNN, the first The War Report. TONY, invade NY, multiply, do or die. Me and you got beef, I got beef. Yo, niggas try shit on me and make history. Supposedly, I was the man that was supposed to be the head of the clique. What? Nora used to be sick. But the Wu-Tang Clan never gave the proper accolades to Inspector Deck, though. Because Inspector Deck was that motherfucker that set the songs off all the time. I bomb atomically. Like Socrates' philosophies and hypotheses. What? Leave it up to me. Will I be living truth or living proof to kick the truth to the young black youth? Shorty running around smoking cess, drinking beer, and ain't trying to hear what I'm kicking in his ear. What? Didn't TD Hip Hop Media try to tell y'all, brother, hear me out? Shorty ain't trying to hear what I'm trying to kick in your ear. And people ask him why his channel called TD Hip Hop Media. You better wake up. You know what I'm saying? You better wake up. You know, man, it used to be so dope, man. Hip hop used to be so hard, man. Like, Inspector Deck was dope. Like, he was one of the hardest cats in him and You God, man. Like, I wish Inspector Deck and You God had came out with like an album just to themselves. You know what I'm saying? Oh, Twister, let your adrenaline rush. Don't make me have to go and pick up the pump. What? Don't make me have to go and pick up the pump. Pulling up and belling out. What'd he say? Speaking of the devil, shout out to my man Moxie Approved. Yo, if y'all not subscribed to my man Moxie Approved, make sure y'all subscribe to my man's channel. You know what I'm saying? Drop your link in the chat, bro, so they can check out your video. Yo, my man Moxie just actually dropped a really dope and informative video on the murder that took place in Mexico. Oh my God, we talking about Mexico? Yeah, we talking about Mexico. You know what I'm saying? We talking about Mexico. You know, so make sure y'all go over there and subscribe to my man's channel. You know what I'm saying? Show him some love, because Moxie is a great content creator. You know what I'm saying? One of my favorite on YouTube, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Twister, let your adrenaline rush. Don't make me motherfucker have to go and pick up the pump. To opposition straight, pick up and dump. Let your adrenaline pulling up and belling out like we call sick and ready to start shit. What do you say? I gotta listen to that shit to memorize it again though. But Twister used to come hard, man. Twister was dope. You know what I'm saying? That song that Twister and the Speed Knot Mobster made to the what's the name of that beat? To the G Thing beat. Man, that shit was dope. Crook County was dope too. He said, number one county, look around me, found me, must have been bad to the bone. Nigga master in the chrome. Nigga shot gotta die from the blast of the dome. Nigga motherfucker Ouija board. I received my blessings from Jesus, Lords, not millies and soul. To the outer world, nigga must have found breathing board. Told me to look into your eyes. All I seen was a bitch. Saw crazy New Orleans. Give me a bit, talk about you with love in my shit. Hit the bud and got sick. What? You could keep your apology. Them whole thugs in harmony. Just when you thought it was safe. Them 4 niggas about to get slaughtered and raped. He said, we bought the beast on the braids down on the 1st of the month with the word to the blunt. Now you're going to be sick to be soon. Now we're going to see Easy E soon. What? You're going to see Easy E soon. Listen, speaking of Twister, man, Do or Die came at Bone hard too. On Do or Die came hard at Bone too. On motherfucker bust at me, you better believe I'm busting back. I'm a hustler, K-I-L-L, kill or be killed. I'm a hustler, K-I-L-L, kill. Motherfucker bust at me, you better believe I'm busting back. Motherfuckers at war, ain't no heart in the door. Nigga, what you robbing it for? Niggas said killer the shop of the war. Disrespect your hometown, town. Cap full of bullets. Look, y'all want to hear a fast rap song that I did? Hold on real quick. Y'all got me on a tongue twister shit. And then we getting back to the topic, man. And speaking of the topic, man, make sure that y'all subscribe to Moxie's channel so y'all can check out his World War III series. You know what I'm saying? One of the best series on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? So we gonna listen to this fast Black Light Revelations real quick. This is pre-Black Light Revelations. This is when this is when your boy was an intellectual pookie. You know what I'm saying? Hold on real quick. This is when your boy was a grimy intellectual pookie. You know what I'm saying? One of them cats that did good in school, you know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying? Got to do a little bit on the side to get the money for the studio, you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Everybody know about that. You know what I'm saying? Everybody know about that life. You know what I'm saying? So check this out right here. Let me know what y'all think about this. All right. Remember, this is from 2022. You know what I'm saying? 2022. Or not 2022, 2002. 2002. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We ain't going nowhere, don't even ask us. We ain't going nowhere, y'all better roll past us. We ain't going nowhere, don't even ask us. We ain't going nowhere, y'all better roll past us. We ain't going nowhere, don't even ask us. We ain't going nowhere, y'all better roll past us. We ain't going nowhere, don't even ask us. We ain't going nowhere, y'all better roll past us. Ain't no turning back when I be creeping and coming up out of the couple in your gut, bucking you down, taking over town's rock, cracking your crown, leave your body on the floor with red all around. Sickest nigga that you ever seen, still rock forever clean, backwoods smoking evergreen, and the county be my team. I'm worse than the villains I created the nightmares that I conjure when I dream. I burn hot like a filament. Niggas don't know, watch the news fill them in. Cause when I come with the 12 gauge or the 9 spray, I'm bucking bullets and plus I'm killing men. R.O. to the B.B. Can you see me in the streets on TV? Represent D.B. Heavily to the death of me. Gun in your face, don't question me. Why you niggas keep on pressing me? It'll be a death, bullet in your chest, cardiac arrest. Do you understand me? This X-Man uncanny. Move slow like a granny, put a slug in your fanny and leave a nigga wet like a chamois. We ain't going nowhere, don't even ask us. We ain't going nowhere, y'all better roll past us. We ain't going nowhere, don't even ask us. We ain't going nowhere, y'all better roll past us. When I'm on the mic, it's like who what were. Suck my dick against the gun bud. Is he thug somewhat? Just another someone.
This is me. You hear it? It said R.O. to the BB. This is me, bro. This is me back when I was young, man. Like this is me back when I was like back in 2002, when I was 22 years old. when I was a young blood.
to get some for the smart, not a dumb one. I can peep right through your disguise under your mask. Bad breath telling deep lies. Don't you getting deep fried? Cause I work the heat right. Try to get me, I'll even give you 3 tries. That's not fair. Like the tourist raising the hair. I'm here, you over there. Get your head bit off of your neck in a sack for trying to stick your shit up in my layer. Better say a prayer. You hard nigga, show me. You softer than preschool lunch full of baloney. Keep 2 guns like my homie Tony, ready to show up only how Rob put the smack on jabronis.
We ain't going nowhere. Don't even ask us. We ain't going nowhere. Y'all better roll past us. We ain't going nowhere. Don't even ask us. We ain't going nowhere. Y'all better roll past us.
When I'm running up for loot, I'm always ready to shoot. Point and click, watch it execute. You wanna taste my flavor? I put your mouth on the tip of my boot. Now who? Harder than who? I stab you with the pinso, outline like a steam so. You must have been mean-to, trying to fuck with a caddy when you pushing a pinto. Cause when I bring it, I damage your dinto. Rob me rude. Understand me, dude? You got guns? Me too. I'm ready with the X-ray specs on the X-ray tech. Shoot 'em, leaving packs to see through. You hard, I don't believe you. So beat up and bloody buddy with more on your tips and guns of your friends is how I leave you. The county, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. For motherfuckers ain't focused. I pull your card, you go fish. Sweet like a hostess, or better yet, little Debbie's. You niggas bet me, I pull the gun out quick, you run out quick. Cause I told you before that nigga Rob's sick.
We ain't going nowhere. Don't even ask us. We ain't going nowhere. Y'all better roll past us. We ain't going nowhere. Don't even ask us. We ain't going nowhere. Y'all better roll past us.
Nowhere. Don't ask. Nowhere. Roll out. Nowhere. Don't ask. Nowhere. Roll out.
We ain't going nowhere. Don't even ask us. We ain't going nowhere. Y'all better roll past us. We ain't going nowhere.
Yeah, man, like that was it. That was back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, man, your boy was wild. Ear Hobby says she wanted this song for the workout. Here you go. It's actually on YouTube. I don't know how they did it, but they aggregated like a topic of my music, which was wild. You know what I'm saying? I was like, damn, I didn't even know nobody knew about this shit. That's how you know, like, the internet is forever. For real, for real. You know what I'm saying? There you go. All right. So, you know what? Damn. Of course, I got an alarm going on in the back. So, look, check this out. God damn. I'm glad we still on this page, because what I'm about to do is I'm about to play another song for y'all. This one of the I'm gonna play one of the actual Pookie songs. And I'm gonna go turn this alarm off, and then we're gonna get back into the content, because we got about an hour. We got about an hour before Crime Cast. All right. So give me a minute. Y'all about to listen to this song called Who Am I?
Who am I? Rob the best home, ain't got no vest on, you be under a headstone. Rob insane, pump the vessels, Olympic rhymes I construct with precious metals. I'm the best to ever do it. Oh, head on your block could tell you that they knew it. See it coming, open your eyes. The picture that I paint don't ever tell no lies. I'm the real, like after a dream. I'm after your cream, hold still, this may sting. Give it on up, cause when I pop them, the chest open up like a rose blossom. Don't even speak, you sit the bench, I'm a starter. I drink alcohol, you guzzling water. What's up now? Nothing to say, like the barrel to the tonsils, cause that's how we play. Who the best? Rob insane. Case you don't know my name, know that you glad I came. Plus it don't stop till I'm on top. Hop, skip the block and still dodge the cops. Who's the best? Rob insane. Case you don't know my name, know that you glad I came. Plus it don't stop till I'm on top. Hop, skip the block and still dodge the cops. I can take a
Let's get back into that international content, because I know y'all like, man, listen, man, this cat's sitting up here trying to promote this nonsense. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, straight 2000s flow. You know what I'm saying? Facts. Your boy can get with that trap flow though. I can actually do that. All you got to do is just make noises. Skirt. That's all you got to do. You know what I'm saying? And mumble. I'm up on YouTube right now. Skirt. About to do stream for y'all. Skirt. My man Moxie in the chat. Got the text in the back. Wearing a new era hat. Skirt. Like, oh yeah, that's all you got to do. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's literally all you got to do. Got the new era in the back. Skirt. Russia about to shoot on a plane. Skirt. Eating my chicken wing. Can't understand what I'm saying. Like that. I mean, that's all you got to do. You know what I'm saying? That shit easy. Go get your money. You know what I'm saying? Go get your money. Go get your dollars. You know what I'm saying? Hold on real quick. Let me see. I think I might have accidentally. Oh, no. Here it is. Okay. China calls for peace talks. China calls for peace talks. Skirt. Ukraine to buy them bombs. Flowing like CD-ROMs. Pink pants be tight. Overseas in a fight. You know what I'm saying? They saying stupid stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So now here says my assessment is the PRC, which is the People's Republic of China, is trying to both increase its standing in the international community by saying that it's willing to mediate and help bring this horrifying invasion to an end. At the same time, they are committed to their no limits partnership with Russia. Sherman said they doing it like Usher. You know what I'm saying? No limit, baby. You need some missiles for Ukraine? No limit. Need some tanks and ammunition? No limit. What do you need? I got it for you. Don't make me have to show you. Got these missiles and bullets. In Ukraine, make them blow up, you know? Shout out to Usher. No limit. And we have certainly growing about what partnership and the PRC support for the invasion, she added. Well, we all know that the PRC actually supports the invasion. They just got to do what they got to do in the eyes of the public. Kathy says, sound like I got Tourette's. You know what I'm saying? Chinese state-controlled firms have sold non-lethal drones and other equipment to both Russia and Ukraine since the start of the conflict. China, why, if you were Ukraine, why would you buy anything from China knowing how cool China and Russia are? Why would you do that? Let me ask you guys a question. If you were beefing with somebody, would you buy weapons from their friend? If you would, give me a thumbs up. If you wouldn't, give me a thumbs down. Me personally, I wouldn't. Chinese state-controlled firms have sold non-lethal drones and other equipment to both Russia and Ukraine since the start of the conflict. China abstained Thursday when the United Nations General Assembly voted on a non-binding resolution calling for Russia to end hostilities in Ukraine and withdraw from the former Soviet state. After releasing the peace plan, the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs vowed Friday that the PRC will continue to play a constructive role in the resumption of peace talks, but it did not elaborate as to how. Top Chinese diplomat Wang Yi met Wednesday with Russian President Vladimir Putin and Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov in Moscow. The Kremlin said Beijing has presented its views on its approaches to a political settlement of the conflict. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said Thursday he had not seen the Chinese peace plan and wanted to meet with Beijing and discuss it before assessing it. I think it's a very good fact in general that China started talking about Ukraine and sent some signals, Zelensky said. We'll draw some conclusions after we see the specifics of what they offer. We would like to have a meeting with China. The entire 12 points of China's abstract peace proposal are listed below. Respecting the sovereignty of all countries, abandoning the Cold War mentality, ceasing hostilities, resuming peace talks, resolving the humanitarian crisis, protecting civilians and prisoners of war, keeping nuclear power plants safe, reducing strategic risks, facilitating grain exports, stopping unilateral sanctions, keeping industrial and supply chains stable, promoting post-conflict reconstruction. Chinese President Xi Jinping is planning to visit Moscow for a summit with Putin in the coming months, according to a Wall Street Journal report. And if we got time, we might look at this Wall Street Journal report. If not, I'll do a separate video on it so we could throw it in. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carla and shout out to Val. The meeting is expected to be a part of China's push to end the war in Ukraine, according to the report. So we're going to look at that report. You know what I'm saying? Eventually. May not be today, but we will definitely look at it. Now, the problem with this is that Russia has shot down the proposals. Okay? Russia has shot the proposals down. Now, China met with Vladimir Putin. They met with Russia. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at this article that goes over what went on in the meeting. And then what we're going to move to is talking about what's going on with the United States and China. Now, I know Moxie knows because Moxie does content on this. And we talked about this during the Russia report, and we talked about it while we were going over the Ukraine war. Name some of the tensions that the United States has with China, because there's a lot. There's the issue of dollar dominance. There's the South China Sea. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you guys drop some radiation emoji for John Gulleroy. John Gulleroy. Drop some radiation emoji for him. John Gulleroy dropped a super thanks on the video that I made about the Mississippi Jim Crow. So show some love to him. Like I said, any support to the channel definitely helps. So shout out to him. Throw him some radiation emojis. All right, so we're going to check out what they're talking about here. China's Xi Jinping is planning to visit Russia. All right, so you know they had some backdoor talks, and everything that they talked about is not going to be out, but let's see what's going on here.
I want to go to Jerry Boykin, the former Deputy Undersecretary of Defense, former Delta Force commander. He's the real deal, this guy, multiple best-selling author. First, I wanted to get your thoughts, Jerry, on the Putin thing, disbanding this nuclear treaty between our two countries. That was a big deal. That was the start, and it stopped. What do you make of it?
Well, I think it is a big deal, and I think it's something we have to take very seriously, but we also need to put it in the frame of reference here. The Russians have been violating this treaty since probably the very beginning. And of the last several years, they have not allowed American inspectors to go into their sites, which was part of the treaty itself. So it's not quite as big as we might think, but anything to do with these treaties, we have to take very seriously.
You know, obviously, some have interpreted General as, grasping at straws. He has very little to counter some of the, boycotts and economic sanctions that have been in place now for almost a year because of his invasion. So this is how he responds. But a desperate man can do desperate things. What do we have to fear, especially in Ukraine? Now with talk that, China's Xi Jinping is going to be going to Russia and maybe set to provide lethal weapons.
Now, here's my question. How do you all think that Joe Biden has been handling the Ukraine situation? And I guess in addition to that question, how do you all feel that Joe Biden has been handling the South China Sea? That's my question for you guys. Let's actually we'll come back to this. I want you guys to see, because there's been military tensions between the United States and China, and they're not new. They've been going on for quite some time, like literally probably before Trump was in office. Here's some things that went down recently. Okay, this is a report from CNN. We're going to check this out.
Tensions are rising in one of the most hotly contested regions on the planet, the South China Sea. From militarized artificial islands to fighter jets and warplanes, China's heavy presence in the disputed region is putting the U.S. and its allies on notice. CNN got rare access aboard a U.S. Navy surveillance flight and saw firsthand some tense moments with China's military. Here's CNN's Ivan Watson.
This is a close encounter with a Chinese warplane, filmed just off the wing of a U.S. Navy reconnaissance plane flying over the South China Sea.
We're getting a close-up look at a Chinese fighter jet. The aircrew here identifies it as a J-11, a two-seater that they say is armed with air-to-air missiles. And it's been shadowing this U.S. Navy plane now for about 15 minutes. it is pretty remarkable to see this Chinese warplane operating at such close proximity, just several hundred feet away from our aircraft.
The Chinese fighter escort, part of a regular routine.
I'd say it's another Friday afternoon in the South China Sea.
The U.S. Navy invited CNN to fly on a P-8 reconnaissance plane, taking off from a U.S. airbase on the Japanese island of Okinawa. Along the way, picking up fuel from a flying gas station.
We're refueling in midair right now, flying just about 40 feet away from a KC-135 tanker plane.
The plane is headed past the self-governing island of Taiwan, which China claims as its own.
Let me ask you guys a question. Why would China claim Taiwan as its own? And shout out to Tarek. Yeah, and if you guys haven't smashed that like button, please make sure you guys take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't done the poll in the chat, if you guys could do the poll in the chat, that would be great. And also answer the question that's in the Q&A. All right, I actually look at that stuff, believe it or not.
To the South China Sea, which China also claims almost all for itself, ignoring competing claims from countries like Vietnam and the Philippines. Some 30 miles from the Chinese-occupied Paracel Islands, a Chinese voice crackles over the radio.
American aircraft, this is the PLA Air Force. You are approaching Chinese airspace. Keep a safe distance or you'll be intercepted.
What would you do if you was just driving or if you was flying a plane and all of a sudden customer service came on? That's what it sounded like. Customer service just hacked into their military radio system. And it's like, what you are doing is you are flying in the wrong direction. If you are lost, then press 1. If you are part of the U.S. military, leave immediately, or missiles will come next. Shout out to customer service.
That's when the Chinese People's Liberation Army fighter jet appears, flying so close you can see the pilots in their cockpit.
PLA fighter aircraft, this is U.S. Navy P-8 on VHF 121.5.
That Chinese dispatch lady said, "Hurry up and fly." She told the U.S. military, "Hurry up and fly."
The Chinese pilot never responds, but eventually leaves when the U.S. plane turns south.
It's like oil spots as they build on one reef and then build on another.
Commodore Will Torreson shows the network of man-made islands China built on what had been coral reefs claimed by other countries.
Our number one focus here is to ensure that we have continued access alongside all of our allies and partners to international airspace and international waters.
The U.S. presence here aimed at preventing further encroachment by China. We're flying at a low altitude, 1,000 feet, a little more than 300 meters above sea level, east of Taiwan, looking for a Chinese warship currently believed to be operating in these stormy waters. The plane spots a Chinese guided missile destroyer.
U.S. aircraft, this is Chinese Navy warship. You are approaching me. Keep safe distance away from me. Over.
I'm a United States military aircraft and I will remain a safe distance from your unit.
A cat and mouse game between two rival militaries in one of the most hotly contested regions in the world.
Now, here's my question for everybody. Let's just say that something between the United States and China pops off tomorrow. Let's just assume that. Shout out to my man Moxie and Fruit. Moxie, you know my ass be trolling, bro. Yeah, you know my ass be trolling this shit. Here's my question. If something pops off between the USA and China, how many people are prepared to be able to sustain and take care of their family? And here's my question. What would you do to take care of your family? How would that work for you? All right. You guys see over here, this trending right here? Looks like this white dude got shot during a traffic stop. He was in a BMW. You know what I'm saying? We'll be talking about that on Surviving the Suburbs, or we might talk about it on Crimecast, because you know it's always the jungle out there in the suburbs. Chinese President Xi Jinping is planning to visit Moscow for a summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin, where the Communist Party leader is expected to urge his counterpart to restrain from using nuclear weapons. The high-level meeting, which is expected to occur in the coming months, will be part of a multi-party push for peace talks as Russia's war in Ukraine reaches the one-year mark, the Wall Street Journal reported on Tuesday, citing people familiar with the plan. Xi Jinping will use the talks to prevent the conflict from going nuclear, the sources say. The meeting could possibly happen late August or early May, when Russia celebrates its World War II victory over Germany. People familiar with the situation told the newspaper. Now, how many of you guys were around when we talked about the cover? I think it was the cover of the 2016 or the 2017 Economist magazine. There have been these talks of nuclear war. That's a stream for Moxie right there. Moxie, you will have a field day with that stream, bro. You should look at the 2016, 2017 Economist magazines. Matter of fact, you could look at the 1986 Economist magazine cover. The 1986 Economist cover has a phoenix on it with all the world currency burning up and a phoenix flying from it, and it says, Phoenix coin, the new world currency. And in that year, I believe that's the first time when Bitcoin had reached $10,000, and it had the price $10,000 right there on that coin that was around that Phoenix bird's neck. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting. You know what I'm saying? And then I don't know if you ever heard about the city called Astana that's in the country of Kazakhstan. I think they changed the name of it, though. That country has a Masonic layout of its capital, just like Washington, D.C. But what's interesting is that when you fly over it with an aerial view, it actually is a lot deeper Masonic symbolism than the Masonic symbolism that's in Washington, D.C. The symbolism over in Kazakhstan and Astana actually shows like the downfall of the United States and the actual quote unquote human race, with humans reaching the quote unquote golden age of the civilization. They say that out of the ashes, which most people say will be nuclear ashes in the United States, will be destroyed in an hour, will arise the New World Order. And I don't know if you guys ever watched G.I. Joe, but there was an episode of G.I. Joe called Cobra Currency. How many people saw that episode? If you saw that episode of G.I. Joe called Cobra Currency, give me a thumbs up. If you guys never saw that episode, give me a thumbs down. But you can watch it. It's on YouTube. All you got to do is just type in G.I. Joe Cobra Currency. And it's interesting, on G.I. Joe Cobra Currency, Cobra gets hold of the world economy and they make all the US dollars, all the paper fiat currency explode. And what happens is Cobra replaces it with a global Cobra currency, where Cobra controls the world's global economic system. Now, remember, this cartoon was from 1986, the same year that Economist magazine cover came out. You know what I'm saying? Yo, if you ever want to do that, bro, man, if you get We Woke Now, you know what I'm saying, and me and you collaborate on that, bro, that'll be dope. So just let me know. So we could do it on your channel, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know what I'm saying, it'll be more people over there. I think people will really be into that. You know what I'm saying? Yo, real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to my man Black Voltron Reloaded for becoming a member. Make sure you guys drop some radiation emojis for Black Voltron Reloaded. Appreciate you, bro. So now here it says the report comes just days after the U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken admitted the U.S. is very concerned that China's considering providing lethal support to Russia as it continues its ongoing invasion of its western neighbor. Blinken wouldn't elaborate on the kinds of support China was considering offering, but said Beijing is trying to have it both ways. Imagine that. Let me ask you guys a question. Hold your horses. Let me ask you guys a question. Who else tries to have it both ways? Is that something familiar? You know what I'm saying? Publicly, they present themselves as a country striving for peace in Ukraine, but privately, I've said we've seen already over these past months the provision of non-lethal assistance that does go directly to aiding and abetting Russia's war effort, he added, which, I mean, again, that's not to be, nobody should be surprised by that. China's top diplomat Wang Yi revealed details of his country's intentions last week at the Munich Security Conference, where he announced China would issue a position paper on Ukraine this week, timing the one-year anniversary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine on February 24th. Wang was scheduled to meet with Putin on Tuesday to discuss relations and international and regional hotspot issues of the shared interest, China's foreign military said. Ukrainian Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba said at NATO headquarters Tuesday that he had met with Wang and learned key elements of China's plan. While Kyiv is waiting for the full text before responding, he said the plan must be based on a principle of territorial integrity. Okay. Because if any country helps Russia to destroy the territorial integrity of Ukraine, then the principle is undermined and the message is clear. Anyone else can do that in any other specific situation on the world map, he told Wall Street Journal. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky on Monday warned China supporting Russia's war efforts could lead to World War III. It could lead us to Moxie-approved channel, according to Zelensky. You know what I'm saying? According to Zelensky, China, don't you dare support Russia, because if you do, everyone will be rerouted to Moxie-approved's next stream. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going to happen. Okay. But Zelensky added that he sees an opportunity for China to make a pragmatic assessment of what's happening, because if China allies itself with Russia, there will be a world war, and I do think that China is aware of that, he said. Beijing has resisted Western pressure to isolate Russia, with trade between the two nations spiking 34% in 2022. China has emerged as a significant buyer of Russian gas and oil, as sales in Western Europe have declined, according to the Wall Street Journal. And it's not a natural decline. The decline is as a result of strict sanctions that the UN and the United States have put on Russia, right? So there's that. All right. Now, what Russia did in response, Russia has shot down China's plan. They said, nah, we ain't doing that. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to do it. Russia shoots down China's peace plan for Ukraine as Beijing becomes more entangled in the conflict a year into the fighting. So China is finding its inner Jada Pinkett and realizing that as time goes on, it's in an entanglement. You know what I'm saying? Not a good place to be. Just ask Chris Rock. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the Kremlin on Monday threw cold water on China's peace plan for the Ukraine war, suggesting now is not the time to pursue such a proposal. We paid a lot of attention to our Chinese friends' plan, Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov said on Monday, per the Moscow Times. For now, we don't see any of the conditions that are needed to bring this whole story towards peace, he added. This development came after the Russian Foreign Ministry on Friday thanked Beijing for the new proposal, but underscored that any peace deal would need to recognize new territorial realities in Ukraine. Now, let me ask you guys a question. When they say it would call for new territorial realities, what do they mean by that? What do they mean? You guys remember just a couple years ago, people in Ukraine, you know, part of the country was broken off, and Russia said, Russia said Crimea River because Crimea is now ours. You know what I'm saying? So do you guys think that Russia is actually trying to take the Donbass region as well? If you ask me, I think that what Russia is trying to do is I think that Russia is trying to get a lot of the areas that have a lot of the ethnic Russians in it. Kingdom Isaiah says Russia wants to take over all of Ukraine. I can see that being a possibility. Or if they don't take over Ukraine, have a heavy influence on Ukraine to try to negate the power that NATO has. If you guys agree with Kingdom Isaiah, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Carla says China restricted their birth rate so much that they don't have enough women to marry the men. They better start allowing that. What is that? What is that called? Polygamy. You know what I'm saying? They better start rationing where men can marry 3 women to service that. You know what I'm saying? You have to use mathematical solutions to deal with mathematical problems. You know what I'm saying? Just saying, you know. In September, Russian President Vladimir Putin illegally annexed 4 Ukrainian regions and claimed them as part of Russia. How many people can name the 4 regions that Putin illegally annexed? Which, if you actually look into it, a lot of those regions annexed themselves because they have Russian freedom fighters and they have ethnic Russians, and there's a lot of war going on there. You know what I'm saying? A lot of chaos. But who can name those 4 regions? Shout out to my man Black Voltron. Good morning and big B1 salute to you too. To you too, sis, Carla Lockhart and Tarek Stedman. Good to have you in here, Black Voltron. Appreciate you, bro. So now here it says Moscow also claims control over Crimea, a peninsula on the Black Sea that Russia illegally annexed after invading Ukraine in 2014. Ukraine has maintained it would not agree to any peace deal requiring it to cede territory to Russia. China's peace plan calls for the territorial integrity of all countries to be upheld, but does not push for Russian troops to leave occupied Ukrainian territories. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky did not reject China's proposal outright, but responded with caution. As Ukraine marked the 1-year anniversary of the Russian invasion on Friday, Zelensky said that he wanted to meet with the Chinese leader Xi Jinping to discuss the plan. I believe that the fact that China started talking about Ukraine is not bad, Zelensky said in a news conference, according to the Associated Press. But the question is what follows the word. The question is in the steps and where they will lead to. China has claimed to be neutral when it comes to the war in Ukraine, but Western critics have scoffed at this notion and accused Beijing of tactically endorsing Russia unprovoked invasion. Now, here's my question, right? I get it. Now, here's my question. Let's just say that China is biased towards Russia. Is that a crime? Shout out to Rick C. What's good with it, bro? Is that a crime? If that's a crime, give me a thumbs up. If it's not a crime, give me a thumbs down. Let me ask you guys a question. Is the United States biased toward Ukraine? So, like, my thing is, like, everybody has their biases. And when it comes to this, like, I think that people on the news, instead of just spreading propaganda, what people should do is people should have an honest conversation about this stuff, and they should talk about it in terms of teams, because we know that everybody has their teams. You know what I'm saying? We know that everybody has their teams. And we know that China is Team Russia, and we know that the United States is Team Ukraine. Is that a fair assessment? Like, is that accurate? Or am I being biased with that? You know what I'm saying? So now here it says China, which tends to side with Russia on geopolitical issues, has said it has a no limits partnership with Moscow. So we talked about that from the last article. Beijing has avoided criticizing Russia, which, you know, when it comes to Beijing avoiding criticizing Russia, that's China being on code with Russia. They're very careful and cautious in how they speak about Russia in the public eye as a effort to maintain their relationship. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, to me, that's to be expected. Meanwhile, Chinese state media has echoed the Kremlin's propaganda about the conflict. As the war in Ukraine enters its 2nd year, Beijing is seamlessly taking a more active approach into the war in Ukraine, and the West has taken notice. Amid historic tensions between Washington and Beijing, the Biden administration has been particularly critical of the Chinese government as Beijing shifts towards increased involvement. Let me ask you guys a question. What do you all think is the long-term goal of Chinese involvement in the war in Ukraine? I honestly think that China is trying to act as a liaison to try to either get Ukraine to flip and completely be on the side of Russia, or to get some type of commitment on Ukraine being neutral in geopolitical issues with the United States and Russia. I think China is playing good cop, if you ask me. That's what it seems like. You know what I'm saying? It would make sense from a strategic standpoint, we'll never know. You know what I'm saying? Like everything that we talk about here is just speculation. But to me, it seems like China's trying to play good cop. Hey, Russia beat you up a little bit. Yeah, let me throw you a couple $1 million of humanitarian aid. Now, I can tell you how you prevent this in the future. Next time there's a UN resolution against the United States, you might want to keep your hands down. Wink, 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 nod, nod, wink, wink. You might want to give Joe Biden a hard time. That wouldn't hurt. Like you see China doing acting like a little sleazy lawyer. You know what I'm saying? China getting a Better Call Saul on. I can see it. You know what I'm saying? I can see it. U.S. President Joe Biden, in an interview that aired on Sunday, told ABC that China's plan would overwhelmingly benefit Russia. I've seen nothing in the plan that would indicate that there is something that would be beneficial to anyone other than Russia if the Chinese plan were followed, Biden said. Oh, well, that's interesting. So let's take a step back. Biden says that no one benefits from the plan except for Russia. Since nobody benefits from the plan other than Russia, from Biden's standpoint, Biden doesn't want to be involved in it. He should think about that next time he runs for election, with all of the policies that he's made and how none of them have benefited Black America. Let me ask you guys a question. Let's reread this paragraph with United States policy as it pertains to Black Americans, foundational Black Americans, freedmen, ADOS. U.S. President Joe Biden, in an interview that aired Sunday, told ABC that Republican and Democrat plans would overwhelmingly benefit most Americans. I've seen nothing in the plan that would indicate that there is something beneficial to Black people. Other Americans will benefit if these plans are followed, Biden said. Now, if we replace who would benefit with everybody else, and we replace who wouldn't benefit with Black people, according to Biden's sentence right here, according to logic, well, hell, shit, we shouldn't support Biden. We shouldn't support Democrats. We shouldn't support anybody who's doing that. So per Biden's own words and own logic, people might want to pay attention to how they vote come 2024. Right? Shout out to my man Moxie. Shout out to DJ Elmo. What's good with a DJ Elmo? Right? Makes sense to me. LJ007 says Biden isn't fit to lead us into war. Listen, Biden's not fit to ride a bicycle. And I don't know what's going on with the people in Congress. If it's not becoming evident that there's an age issue with our government, I don't know what is. I don't know what happened with Mitch McConnell, but he fell down and now he in the hospital. These people can't stay upright. You know what I'm saying? Joe Biden is falling up the stairs every time we turn around. I heard Mitch McConnell had a moment. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. We need to get some quote unquote new blood. You know what I'm saying? So let's take a look at this and see if this will play here.
Vladimir Putin told the Russian people this week that China's President Xi is coming to Russia, likely as early as this spring. I know the State Department and the Pentagon now have both warned China not to offer lethal military assistance to Russia. Would that cross a line for you?
Look, it's not in China's. I had a very frank conversation with President Xi this past summer.
What you just witnessed is a psychological condition called flight of ideas. Joe Biden literally stopped halfway through a sentence and just started another one. Did you guys notice that? Let's watch again.
Vladimir Putin told the Russian people this week that China's President Xi is coming to Russia, likely as early as this spring. I know the State Department and the Pentagon now have both warned China not to offer lethal military assistance to Russia. Would that cross a line for you?
Look, it's not in China's. I had a very...
It's not in China's. I had a very... How does that work? Listen. I'm gonna stop where he stops halfway through.
Lethal military assistance to Russia. Would that cross a line for you?
Look, it's not in China's...
Okay, you see that? Look, it's not in China's. Okay, so you're expecting him to say it's not in China's interest, yada, 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 right? Look, it's not in China's. Now watch.
I had a very frank conversation with.
Oh, what about what was going on with it's not in China's? Was your conversation not in China, or like what's going on there?
Russia. Would that cross a line for you?
Look, it's not in China. I had a very frank conversation with President Xi this past summer on this issue. And I pointed out to him, without any government prodding, 600 American corporations left Russia, from McDonald's to Exxon to across the board. And I said, and if you are engaged in the same kind of brutality by supporting the brutality that's going on, I said, you may face the same consequence. I don't anticipate, we haven't seen it yet, but I don't anticipate a major initiative on the part of China providing weaponry to Russia.
But if they did, would that be crossing a line for you, Mr. President?
It would be the same line everyone else would have crossed. In other words, we impose severe sanctions on anyone who has done that.
So there would be serious consequences.
I'll let you characterize what they would be. We would respond.
What do you make of this Chinese peace plan floated overnight that Putin is now applauding today?
I think you answered the question. Putin's applauding it. How could it be any good? I'm not being facetious. I'm being deadly earnest. I've seen nothing in the plan that would indicate that there is something that would be beneficial to anyone other than Russia if the Chinese plan were followed. And so the idea that China is going to be negotiating the outcome of a war that's a totally unjust war for Ukraine is just not rational.
So now it's interesting, right? Because it seems like the move that China did is basically to step in front of the United States and say, well, guess what? We're going to be facilitating what goes on here. We're going to be facilitating taking care of this war. We're taking charge now. And I don't think that Joe Biden really likes that at all. And I agree. That's where you got Nikki Haley talking about elder competency. That absolutely is. You know what I'm saying? I don't like Mrs. Nimrata Randhawa, you know what I'm saying? But she's right about that. You know what I'm saying? But you guys remember, if I'm not mistaken, and shout out to Carla for answering the Nightbot. I think that was like last year. No, it was while Trump was in office. The Democrats came with some type of presidential competency plan as well. Do you guys remember that? If you guys remember that, give me a thumbs up in the comment section. If you guys don't, give me a thumbs down. And real quick, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys have not smashed the like button, please take a moment and smash the like button. Also help your boy out by sharing the video to your social media, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Reddit, wherever it is. Make sure you help your boy out by sharing. Sharing is caring. China's peace plan was also unveiled days after U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken warned that Beijing could send lethal weapons to Russia to be used in Ukraine. The CIA has also issued warnings along these lines. We are confident that the Chinese leadership is considering the provision of lethal equipment, CIA Director Bill Burns told CBS News in an interview that aired on Friday. Burns also said that China had not yet made a final decision on whether to provide Moscow with lethal aid. China has firmly rejected claims it's considering sending arms to Russia, while accusing the U.S. of fueling the war by providing weapons to Ukraine. That's a good point that they bring up. While the U.S. is sending weapons to Ukraine, they're criticizing China for considering sending weapons to Russia. Now, the reason why the United States tries to justify sending weapons to the Ukraine is because the United States is going to say, well, you know, we're saving Ukraine. Ukraine is on the defensive, so we're just doing a good thing. You know what I'm saying? If you guys aren't subscribed on Twitch, make sure you guys go check out Blacklight Revelations on Twitch. I think this is F. Tumish says U.S. doesn't like anyone telling them what to do. Yeah, I agree. If you guys agree with that person on Twitch there, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. I agree. You know what I'm saying? It's not very often that I agree with the people on Twitch either. You know what I'm saying? Usually the people on Twitch provide comedy relief. But in this situation, you know what I'm saying, the person on Twitch provided some valid engagement, which is great. So shout out to shout out to the people on Twitch for evolving. You know what I'm saying? So what we need to know about what we need to know about the China and Taiwan tensions. All right. I'm gonna try to rush through these next couple things here. Okay. Let's see if there's anything good on this video. Turn the volume down.
Welcome to Who's Talking.
Yeah, see, I tried to turn the volume down and it didn't let me. So while this ad is playing here, smash that like button, share the video out, go over to Twitch, check out the channel on Twitch, follow my backup channels. You guys know what to do. All right, let's see what's going on here. All right.
Democracy living under the threat of an autocratic superpower. Taiwan is just over 100 miles away from mainland China's southeast coast. This self-ruled island of more than...
Now, this is interesting. Kingdom Isaiah says America doesn't tell countries what to do. That's China and Russia doing that. If you ask me, I feel that America, China, and Russia use their influence to tell countries what to do. My question for you is, if America doesn't tell countries what to do, how do you explain the sanctions on the African nations for resisting the LGBTQ policies? And what would you call what went on with Gaddafi? Also, what would you consider the Iran nuclear deals? And what would you consider all of that is my question. And that's not a question just for Kingdom Isaiah. That's for everybody in the chat. Let me know what you guys think.
Than 23 million is seen by China as a breakaway province that must be reunified with the mainland, even by force if necessary. The war in Ukraine has heightened fears over the fate of Taiwan and renewed scrutiny on America's role in a potential conflict. The island became part of the...
I'm going to tell you something about President Xi Jinping. If you ever notice somebody that in every single picture that's ever taken of them ever, they have the same facial expression all the time, that's somebody to keep an eye on that person. Keep an eye on that person. What I want somebody to do is I want somebody to find me a picture of Xi Jinping where he doesn't have the same facial expression and put the link to that picture in the chat. Is there one out there? Shout out to my man, Cameron Jones. What's good with it, Cameron? Now, Kingdom Isaiah says Gaddafi terrorized his people in Libya. Now, here's my question. How so? How so? Now, here's my thing. Regardless of whether he terrorized people or not, do you believe that sovereign countries have the right to be sovereign? That's my question. That's my question. Let me know what you guys think.
The Chinese Empire in the 17th century. It fell under Japan's rule for 50 years until the end of World War II, then was governed by Chiang Kai-shek's ruling Nationalist Party. When the Nationalists lost a brutal...
So see, as you guys can see, Taiwan used to be a legitimate part of China. Now, that's probably a small part of what this is about, but it's not everything. It's not everything. Somebody mentioned it in the comment section before. Shout out to my man, James Hudson. Taiwan is a very influential manufacturer of semiconductors, and semiconductors are definitely something that's necessary for future dominance of the world. These are moves that are about world domination. Because remember, world domination is the only solution.
It fell under Japan's rule for 50 years until the end of World War II, then was governed by Chiang Kai-shek's ruling Nationalist Party. When the Nationalists lost a brutal civil war and fled to Taiwan, Mao Zedong's Communist Party took over the mainland in 1949. Both Taipei and Beijing claimed to be the only legitimate ruler of the entire Chinese territory. For decades, the U.S. and most countries recognized Taipei as the sole government of China. But in 1979, the U.S. switched diplomatic relations from Taipei to Beijing. Officially, the U.S. and most countries acknowledge there is only one China. Yet unofficial ties between Washington and Taipei have been tightening. Multiple American delegations have visited in recent years to show support for Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen, a leader Beijing.
Now, here's my question. How many people knew that it was this deep in Taiwan? If you guys knew that it was this deep, give me a thumbs up. If you guys didn't know that it was this deep, give me a thumbs down. So there's history here.
As dangerously pro-independent, and the U.S. continues to sell weapons to the island. All of that infuriates China. In response, last year, Beijing flew a record number of warplanes into airspace near Taiwan. For decades, the U.S. has been purposefully vague about whether it would defend the island should the Chinese attack. But as China's military might grows, more are calling for the Biden administration to end this so-called strategic ambiguity. And what happens to Taiwan will have ripple effects around the world. It's the global leader in semiconductors. Taiwan's chips.
Oh, shout out to your boy, Blacklight Revelations. Didn't your boy just say that they led the world in semiconductors? I didn't say no ambiguous shit. I said the word semiconductors. Ha! So now here's a question, right? When it comes to semiconductors, I'm going to ask you guys a question. What are the raw materials that go into the manufacture of semiconductors? Semiconductors would be like microchips, computer chips, motherboards, different things like that. What are the commodities that are the raw materials that go into the manufacture of semiconductors? List them for me in the comment section.
Power everything from smartphones to cars, while Beijing has rejected comparisons between
So Adrian says silicone, Cameron says cobalt, gold, copper. DJ Elmo says precious metals, graphene, right? Graphene. Graphene. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Where is the world's largest deposits of graphene? Somebody look that up and drop it in the comment section. So now all of these commodities that people have listed into the comment section: silicone, cobalt, gold, precious metals, copper. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what ASUS and HTC is. What are those, Kingdom Isaiah? I'm not sure what those are, bro. Zinc, silver. Cameron says Africa. Yeah, Africa is where they are. Adrian Hicks says Africa is where they are. Do you think it's an accident that China is all up and through Africa like that then? So now imagine this. China now has pretty good control over where the raw materials that go into the production of semiconductors are, right? So now what comes next? If you listen, it's the same as selling drugs. You get control over a Colombian opiate field. Now we got the raw material. Okay, what do we do next? Well, next we got to get manufacturing and distribution. We got to get trap houses, and we got to get people to put the product into the street. So now the trap house for the semiconductors is an island called Taiwan. So most of these wars are business moves, because the true control is through economy and also through convenience. Right? That's where you get the true control. So now let me ask you guys a question. If we know that the world is moving in more of a futuristic direction, what would be some good commodities to invest in? What's some good commodities to invest in? See, war generates a lot of money. People like George Soros make billions of dollars off of war. Anytime there should be a whole class on how to become a billionaire during a crisis. How do you become a billionaire during the crisis? You basically bet on whatever is being fought for. You bet on whatever's being fought for. The reason is because whoever controls those things will control the world. What did Vladimir Putin say about artificial intelligence? Whoever comes with the most advanced artificial intelligence and whoever controls artificial intelligence will ultimately, most likely, control the world, right? That's what Putin said. Do you guys agree with that assessment? If you agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If you disagree, give me a thumbs down. I think that's pretty accurate.
Taiwan and Ukraine, experts agree China is closely analyzing the crippling sanctions against Russia. And they say there is the potential for an even more destructive conflict that could pit the world's largest militaries and economies against each other. Beijing may become more cautious in light of Russia's struggling.
Now, when economies clash, right? Shout out to DSB. What's good with it, bro? When economies clash, that's when you get a lot of civilian casualties. You may not launch one missile, but when those economies clash and the price of food skyrockets and the price of money deteriorates, now you got a lot of people with a lot of issues. And what you've done to a country or to a region could be theoretically more destructive than anything that a missile or artillery could do. Do you guys think that China knows that? Do you think that Russia knows that? Do you think the United States knows that?
Invasion and the strong Western response. But on the other hand, Beijing could accelerate its plans and conclude that any attempt to take Taiwan by force will only get harder the longer they wait. Selena Wang, CNN.
All right, Selena Wang. Shout out to Selena Wang. So I think that video pretty much it gave a good background to the history between China and Taiwan, right? I think it gave a pretty good background, but I think I might come back and do a video just particularly about that particular thing, just so we have it, just for clarity in case anybody ever has any questions or anything like that. So now we're talking about all these wars on all these fronts, right? Shout out to Mr. Knock. What's good with it, bro? Now we got an article in the Wall Street Journal talking about U.S. is going to expand troop presence in Taiwan for training against the Chinese threat. Now, does that sound like an escalation? If that sounds like an escalation, give me a thumbs up. If it doesn't sound like an escalation, give me a thumbs down. DJ Elmo says, Blacklight, I guess all Chinese folks in America can use the AAPI laws against Biden as tensions increase if they face backlash. Yeah, I would assume that would make sense, bro. That would make a lot of sense. Kingdom Isaiah says no. Katsy says yes. What do you guys think? If the U.S. is expanding its presence into Taiwan and training against China and also doing military exercises, is that an escalation of the issues going on in the South China Sea? Let me know what you guys think. Yes, no, maybe. The Pentagon is helping Taiwan focus on its tactics and weapons system that would make it harder for the island to be assaulted. Okay. The U.S. is markedly increasing the number of troops deployed to Taiwan, more than quadrupling the current number to bolster a training program for the island's military amid a rising threat from China. The U.S. plans to deploy between 100 and 200 troops to the island in the coming months, up from roughly 30 there a year ago, according to U.S. officials. The larger force will expand a training program the Pentagon has taken plans to not publicize as the U.S. works to provide Taipei with the capabilities it needs to defend itself without provoking Beijing. So now here's my question. If you ask me, first the troops are coming, and then the money is going to come. So now, do you guys think that in the future we'll be making some all money ain't good money global videos about how much money the United States is giving to Taiwan? Do you think that that's going to come? If you guys think that that's going to come, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that it's going to come, give me a thumbs down. I think it's probably going to come. I think we're going to start seeing the United States start giving Taiwan money if they're not already. It might just be flying under the radar. They might be doing it already and we just ain't really paying attention to it. I'm going to start looking closer because that's one of the things that I want to do is I'm going to be doing more content about international news as well. I'm going to start using that newscast channel, and we're going to be talking about international stuff as well. Because if you ask me, the international and foreign policy elements of politics get overlooked a lot of times. And the international and foreign policy elements of politics are elements that can actually help people with their investments and help people make a lot of money quickly. You guys remember all of the billionaires doubled their fortune during the C-19 pandemic. You guys remember that? If you guys remember that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't remember that, give me a thumbs down. They all, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and all of them, they're already rich. They became mega billionaires during C-19 because those rich people, they all understand to not let a good crisis go to waste. I hate to say that, but that's what they do. It is what it is. It's just what they do. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says the number of American troops, which has included Special Operations Forces and U.S. Marines, has fluctuated by a handful during the past few years, according to Defense Department data. The planned increase would be the largest deployment of forces in decades by the U.S. on Taiwan, as the two draw closer to counter China's growing military power. Beyond training on Taiwan, the Michigan National Guard is also training a contingent of the Taiwanese military, including during annual exercises with multiple countries at Camp Grayling in northern Michigan, according to people familiar with the training. The expanded training, both in the U.S. and in Taiwan, is a part of a gathering U.S. to push help to a close partner to prepare to thwart a possible invasion by China. The U.S. officials said the expansion was planned for months, well before the U.S.-China relations plummeted anew this month after a suspected Chinese spy balloon traversed North America for more than a week before being shot down by the Air Force. Let me ask you guys a question. Is militarily the only way that China could invade Taiwan? Think about this. Think about this. Are there other ways that China could possibly invade Taiwan? What are other ways that the United States could invade Taiwan? Do you guys know? What are some other ways? I think that they could financially invade them if they just kind of financially bullied Taiwan and bought up a lot of power and a lot of businesses. They could just engulf Taiwan. That's exactly Andretti. Andretti says China could mess with the economy. That kind of leaves less of a fingerprint than if you just directly go in and start shooting and bombing stuff up. And I think that that's probably the kind of approach that China would take. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you disagree, give me a thumbs down. I agree with Andretti. And they could do culturally as well. Hit them with misinformation campaigns and propaganda. Kingdom Isaiah says Taiwan is an independent, free democracy. The U.S. should have never bowed down to Beijing's demands. The United, I agree, but the the United States has, if you ask me, the United States has been bowing to Beijing's demands for a long time. They haven't really been hard on China when it comes to foreign and economic policy or holding China accountable for intellectual property theft. And I think they could have been doing that. I don't know why they were kind of soft on China in that way. You know what I'm saying? But that's been an ongoing thing. And I think that is now coming back to bite. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, with a decades-old military buildup gaining momentum, China's People's Liberation Army is increasingly engaging in aggressive maneuvers, sending planes and ships near Taiwan. Following Russia's full invasion of Ukraine last year, the Pentagon has redoubled efforts to get Taiwan to adopt what some military specialists called a porcupine strategy, focusing on tactics and weapon systems that would make the island harder to assault. The additional troops will be tasked with training Taiwan forces not only on U.S. weapon systems, but on military maneuvers to protect against a potential Chinese offensive, the U.S. officials said. The officials declined to provide other details about the deployment, which hasn't previously been reported. Taiwan's defense minister, Chu Kao-ching, confirmed Friday the deployment of Taiwanese troops to the U.S., describing the training as going beyond basic combat skills. Mr. Chu, speaking to reporters after the publication of this article, said the advanced training would be conducted at the battalion level, focusing on tactics such as staff operations and troop deployment. In Taiwan, a battalion can include up to 600 soldiers, but Mr. Chu didn't give details about the exact number of troops that Taiwan is sending to the United States. The Chinese embassy in Washington didn't immediately respond for a request to comment. Beijing has been unnerved by the U.S. and Taiwan's greater coordination on defense, accusing Washington of undermining previous commitments to maintain unofficial relations with Taipei. When the Wall Street Journal first reported in 2021 on the previously unpublicized training of Taiwan's forces by a small American military contingent, China's foreign ministry and Beijing would take unspecified steps to protect its interests. One of the difficult things to determine is what is really objectionable to China, said one of the U.S. officials about the training. We don't think at the levels that we're engaged in and are likely to remain engaged in the near future that we are anywhere close to a tipping point for China. But that's a question that is consistently being evaluated and looked at specifically with every decision involving support to Taiwan. A spokesman at the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command, which is responsible for U.S. military operations in the Asia-Pacific, declined to comment. The White House and Pentagon declined to comment about its additional forces. All right. So they got this video right here saying what's at stake with Taiwan. And let me see. It says keep hovering to play, but for some reason it won't let me play. Wait a minute. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. Hold on real quick.
Remarkable experiences reside beyond the ordinary.
I don't know why they do this. If you guys haven't smashed that like button, make sure you guys hit the like button. And remember, stay in the stream. It'll take you right into Crimecast. We got a really good Crimecast coming up.
But more of
a self-ruled democracy in the heart of the Pacific, and tensions over Taiwan are higher than they've been in decades. That's because of how Taiwan is viewed around the world. The U.S. and its allies support the island's strong democratic system, but the Chinese Communist Party insists that Taiwan is part of China. It feels so strongly about this that its leaders have vowed to take control of Taiwan by force if necessary. Things have gotten so heated that people around the world are starting to consider the possibility of a conflict.
It is hard to imagine that Taiwan could hold out if it lost access to food, electricity, the internet.
Taking on China in a war is a very big deal.
It will be a catastrophic consequence if anything happens in Taiwan.
There are no indications that a war is imminent, but what could happen if one actually broke out? Here's a look at what a war could mean for the island, the Pacific region, and the entire world. First, let's look at the island. It's home to 24 million people. and at about 14,000 square miles, it's less than 1/10 the size of California. It has 8 major ports and 4 international airports. And those ports help connect its high-tech economy to the rest of the world. This right here is the Taiwan Strait. About 100 miles across it is mainland China. In recent weeks, China staged military exercises in these regions to show that it could isolate Taiwan.
今天，中国在台湾周边进行实弹射击演习。
My colleague Josh Chin says the island's terrain is both a blessing and a curse for the people of Taiwan.
Taiwan is very mountainous, which is good in terms of defending against an invasion. It's not so great in terms of arable land.
That makes Taiwan heavily dependent on imports to survive, since the island only produces about 1/3 of its food and just 12% of its energy. Another potential problem for Taiwan is that 95% of high-speed data is transferred through cables that lie on the ocean floor.
So if China wanted to take the island offline, all it would have to do is use submarines to cut those cables or launch military strikes at the landing stations where the cables come on land.
So we're talking about critical shortages if a war broke out. And by the way, Taiwanese forces would be greatly outnumbered. According to the Pentagon, China has more than 1 million troops, while Taiwan has just 88,000. That's why to successfully defend Taiwan, the United States would most likely have to step in.
Are you willing to get involved militarily to defend Taiwan if it comes to that?
Yes.
So let's zoom out a little wider. What would a conflict mean for the...
There you go. So if anything goes down with China and the United States, or with China and Taiwan, Joe Biden just said, yes. So we'll be in another war. Now, let me ask you guys a question, all right? From a strategic standpoint, would it be a good idea for the United States to be helping Russia, or I'm sorry, the United States to be helping Ukraine and helping Taiwan at the same time? Do you all think that would really be the move? If you guys think so, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think so, give me a thumbs down. And shout out to Carla and it was somebody else, but I missed it. I apologize. The comments going fast. I'm missing stuff. Shout out to everybody that's been answering the Nightbot.
Pacific? A war wouldn't just have implications for the U.S. Military experts say it would also affect U.S. allies in the region like Japan, Korea, the Philippines, and Australia to varying degrees. The Japanese island of Okinawa would play a key role since it has major U.S. military facilities and is less than 500 miles from Taiwan. The U.S. territory of Guam would also be crucial, since it's the closest American soil to Taiwan and China and is home to major military bases. Further south, bases in Australia and the Philippines could also potentially come into play. South Korea could also be affected.
Shout out to Black Voltron Reloaded for answering the Nightbot. I appreciate that. Answering that Nightbot, believe it or not, it really helps.
But in a different way, because a conflict could give North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un an incentive to launch an attack of his own. For that reason, military experts I talked to think it's unlikely that South Korea would directly participate in a conflict.
Now, I got a question for you guys. How many people are familiar with Edgar Cayce and the prophecies that Edgar Cayce made? And how many people are familiar with Baba Vanga and the prophecies that Baba Vanga made? Like the they had these premonitions or whatever. If you guys are familiar with that, I'm gonna ask you a question. What did they say? What are things that they said?
Some analysts believe it's probably too hard to know who would win a big war. But a recent war game conducted in Washington found that the U.S. and Taiwan can defend against a Chinese invasion. Mark Kansian and the Center for Strategic and International...
Man, if somebody come with some memes with Kim Jong-un on the cover of Ready to Die or Life After Death, I'm coming after you, Director Kudo. If I see some damn memes floating around with Kim Jong-un on a damn Ready to Die album cover with his face pasted on that baby, or him in the trench coat with the hat on, we coming after Director Kudo. Yo, shout out to my man Reef the Watcher. My man Reef the Watcher shared my video that I did about the Mississippi Jim Crow. You know what I'm saying? Definitely appreciate that. Make sure you guys drop some radiation emoji for Reef. for sharing the video.
International Studies hosted that war game. So, Mark, in your simulation, loss of life would be significant.
We haven't done the calculations yet about exactly what numbers are, but you'd be into the certainly 10,000, 20,000 casualties and equipment losses that we haven't seen since the Second World War.
The war game found that multi-billion-dollar aircraft carriers would be sunk. Hundreds of fighter jets would be destroyed, and key military bases would be attacked. While a successful defense of Taiwan could strengthen U.S. position in the Pacific, Mark says that big picture, those kinds of losses would dent U.S. power around the world.
It would take many years for the U.S. to completely rebuild its forces after those kinds of losses. That might endanger the U.S. position in other parts of the world, in Europe or the Middle East. So that would be a tremendous risk.
As for Taiwan, there would be a great deal of rebuilding to do after such a costly conflict. So let's zoom out even more to look at how devastating a conflict over Taiwan would be to the global economy.
So this is what we need to pay attention to. How a conflict with Taiwan would affect the global economy, because watching the global markets is how you get pizzed. Shout out to my man Hob. If you haven't if you guys haven't done the poll in the chat, if you guys could take a moment and do the poll in the chat about the notifications, that would be great. But real quick, just to take a poll in here, if you got a notification for this live stream from YouTube, give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji. If you did not get a notification, give me a thumbs down or an angry face, okay?
Over Taiwan would be to the global economy. This tiny island plays a huge role in international business. Just take a look at this map of ship traffic in the Taiwan Strait. 90% of the world's largest ships sailed through last year. A conflict would most likely shut it down, so you can imagine how that would complicate the global supply chain. Even worse, a war could cripple one of the world's most critical industries, semiconductor manufacturing.
If bad things happen, all of a sudden, we're not talking about chip shortage anymore. The world loses 90% of that manufacturing capacity.
Taiwanese companies dominate the industry, especially Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing Company, or TSMC. Their biggest client, Apple. Today, Taiwan makes 70% of the world's microchips, and they are key to getting our cell phones.
70% of the world's microchips. That means that only 30% of the world's microchips come from places other than Taiwan. They have, now that's what market domination looks like. That's what market domination looks like. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you see why China wants a piece of that now? Imagine China dominating Africa for all of the resources. China dominating Taiwan for the island trap house. If China dominates all of that, for the most part, in this current world that we live in, China has effectively dominated the world. And remember, world domination is the only solution. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I agree. Not could cripple the semiconductor industry, but will cripple it. Facts. Absolutely.
Computers and even our cars to run smoothly. Charles also says chips are needed to develop and run software. So do you think we could lose our ability to TikTok or YouTube or Zoom if there were some kind of conflict?
Yes, I can tell you that a lot of applications you love, you feel like it's part of your everyday life, they're gone.
There are all kinds of
That's the right question to be asking. That is absolutely the right question to be asking. And unfortunately, I don't have the answer, but I will definitely be on the lookout for it, because those might not be bad places to look for towards investments. If Taiwan gets tied up in a military issue, the other places that manufacture semiconductors will be slammed with demand. They'll be slammed with demand. You know what I'm saying?
products and innovations that a chip crisis would just derail. Electronics, but also things like healthcare products and renewable energy parts. In the event of a conflict, we may not be able to get any of them. So, what would it cost to make Taiwan semiconductors somewhere else? Charles and other analysts I talked to say it would take more than $300 billion and at least 3 years just to replicate Taiwan's semiconductor industry.
Now, do you think that China would destroy all of that? That wouldn't make a lot of sense. But to capture it for a short-term inconvenience, that would make sense. So let me ask you a question. Why is China interested in dominating Taiwan?
Clearly, a war would come at a heavy cost for Taiwan, the Pacific, and the global economy. And that includes China, which is also dependent on Taiwanese semiconductors and trade, just like the rest of the world.
So there's that. You know what I'm saying? There's that. So rumors of war, all right? And people think that these might be the terminal wars, you know what I'm saying, that completely changed the face of the world as we know it. And if that's the case, then what we're looking at right now is the start of the ending. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys are interested in crime content, especially suburban crime content, don't move a muscle. It'll take you right into the next stream. For everybody that watched this live stream, I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Make sure you guys smash the like button. Make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Share the video out to your other social media. And I will catch you all on the next one. And don't forget, Just Talking with TD and Rob at 3 o'clock p.m. Eastern time today. Peace.